Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes Radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWineRadio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.
Hello, my name is Mary Elke. I'm the owner of Elke Vineyards, and you can learn more about me at elkevineyards.com.
I am so excited to introduce to you today, well, voice-wise, Mary Elke, founder of Elke Vineyards in Anderson Valley in Mendocino County. Been trying to get connected with her for a while. She's a very, very busy woman, family and business-wise. And I recently had the opportunity to taste her Mary Elke Brut sparkling wine, which is 40% Pinot Noir, 60% Chardonnay. It's absolutely delicious, fantastic wine. And Mary, and that's your grandbaby?
Yeah, that's Kate. She'll be cooing in the background a bit.
Okay, so Kate's making her radio debut here. And you have it listed on the website as party wine. I like the way you have things set up. It really, I think people can understand very quickly. The Pinot Noir setup is old world style or new world style. And also, you say food-loving Mary Elke Chardonnay, but for the Brut, you say party-loving Brut. And for me, sparkling wine is like every day is a celebration wine.
That's true. I think in the United States, we are just coming around to seeing sparkling wine as something that can be enjoyed not just on New Year's Eve or at anniversaries.
Exactly.
You know, it's, in Europe, they've drunk it more often as an aperitif or with a starter course with a meal, so it can be enjoyed. For 25 years, I've grown grapes and sold them to Roederer and to Mumm. So that was really what inspired me to try to get a little bit of sparkling wine.
And does your winemaker, Matt Evans, make the sparkling wine also, or?
He does not. It's made for me at a specialty sparkling wine producing winery in Mendocino County called Rack and Riddle.
I know them. Okay.
Yeah, so that was you need so much equipment to make really good méthode champenoise. And I'm such a small winery, I could never produce that quality myself. So it's been great to have Rack and Riddle do custom crush for me.
And when you say such a small winery, you're talking 2,000 cases of wine per year under the label of Elke Vineyards, but you still produce, you grow a lot of grapes and sell them, right?
I do. I only use about 15% of my grape production for my own wines. The bulk of my grape growing goes to other wineries.
And we're talking Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Gris?
Correct,
How the heck did you find Matt Evans?
Complete serendipity. He was caretaking a small property in Anderson Valley in 2010, and somebody told him to give me a call, and we just clicked. He and his fiancé, girlfriend were spectacular and worked well together, and we enjoyed each other's company, and we've been together ever since.
And so he makes the trek back and forth from New Zealand to Anderson Valley a couple times a year?
That's what he does. Yeah, he'll be coming in June, and we'll do the blending trials together.
Okay.
And then he'll be back from August to November to go work through harvest and do the next crush.
Does he make wine or for someone else or under his own label in New Zealand?
Not in New Zealand. He makes wine for himself at my winery, and then he works as a consultant with some people in New Zealand.
Wow. Oh my gosh! So there's one more label then that is using your grapes. Is it called Matt Evans Wines?
Well, I don't know. It's so new. It's not actually. He's in the process of getting that label produced right now. So he will have his first releases of 2010 and 11 Pinot Noir in the next few months.
Oh my gosh! Well, when he comes back back up to your place, let him know that I'd love to chat with him and get his take on winemaking. But as you say, you two click so much. And so, how have you lived your whole life in Anderson Valley, Mary?
No, not by any means. I grew up in Southern California. I'm a native Californian, but I taught elementary school in Southern California. But when I moved to Northern California, met my husband, and through friends of his, we started growing grapes in Napa.
Oh, wow.
In the mid-'70s, 1977, 78. And then shortly after that, we acquired property in Anderson Valley, and I grew apples organically and produced Mary Elke's organic apple juice for a couple of decades. And then in 1990, we started growing grapes in Anderson Valley.
Wow. I've been up to Anderson Valley one time, and it's just beautiful, beautiful, bucolic.
It's still so hard to get to. We haven't ruined it yet.
Yes. Yeah, that windy road to get up into Anderson Valley was really a number on my stomach. But
we call it Dramamine Drive.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So you're going to be pouring wine at the upcoming Anderson Valley Pinot Noir Festival. You're going to be pouring your Old World and your New World wines?
Yeah, so we call it that to distinguish. It's just New World means that we pick the fruit a little riper, so the style of the wine is a little fruitier, a little more fruit dominant or driven, as we say in the business. Whereas my Old World style, we pick it with it isn't that the fruit is underripe, but it's not as ripe. It has a little higher acid, and therefore it's probably more age-worthy, but it also has a kind of more nuanced character. Fruit isn't the predominant characteristic of the wine. And it would more resemble Burgundian wines than Russian River or Central Coast Pinot Noir.
And I would guess because you're picking it so it's not overripe, so to speak, it has lower alcohol also?
Well, that's correct. The higher the sugar, it tends to be the higher the alcohol. So, we're aiming for right at 13.8, 13.7%, something like that for the Old World style. The New World style is almost always a little over 14%. But again, I believe that balance in the wine is more important than any one particular element. So, wines can be 14% alcohol and still be very balanced.
When you were growing up in Southern California, did your parents drink wine with their dinner?
No, that was the era of cocktails, and I think my father drank milk with dinner, if you want to know the truth. So I didn't have any experience with wine growing up in my family.
Wow, and I love this concept of your Boonville Barter Pinot Noir.
Yeah, well, it was a funny sort of whimsical name, but it just kind of rolled off the tongue, and it was meant to be my Wednesday night pizza Pinot, just a kind of table wine Pinot Noir that everybody could afford and not worry that they didn't have an important enough meal to open an expensive bottle of Pinot Noir, but it would still be characteristically true to the grape, which it is, and it's a very popular selling wine in restaurants as well, because restaurants can afford to offer it by the glass.
Mary, is the best way for people to connect with you and purchase wine by your website?
It is. I have a tasting room that's open in Anderson Valley 4 days a week, but if you can't visit, then the best way is to go to my website, ElkeVineyards.com.
And do you ship where you're allowed to ship?
I can. The website indicates the states I can't ship to. There are only 3 or 4, but they're indicated there on the top of the buy page. Yep.
Okay, and before we hang up here, let me just also mention this, your Pinot Gris.
It's, I've been growing Pinot Gris for many, many years and selling it to other people. 2010 was the first year we made any under my own label, and it was so delicious and successful that we decided to continue. And it's, again, I think one of the hallmarks of Anderson Valley in general, and certainly my vineyard, is that we can get very ripe fruit, but that ripe fruit retains its acid. And that isn't true of lots of warmer growing regions. And so the Pinot Gris has a lovely acidic characteristic, but very fruity at the same time.
Mary Elke of Elke Vineyards, thank you so very much for joining us today.
You're very welcome, Lynn. It was nice to talk to you. Bye-bye now.
Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine, on the web at iWineRadio.com.
Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWineRadio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.